Good evening, everybody. This is Bulldozer Investing. Today is February 23rd, 2021. It is 4:59 p.m. Before we begin our analysis, I'm going to go ahead and conclude a couple of things so that you're familiar with the channel. I only take requests from our Twitter channel. I do post daily tweets, so I'm just going to go ahead and show you that really quick. Let me get to my home page. There you go. So here on our home page, I don't know why this is still pinned, but there you go. So you may still, look at the pinned tweet, go to our home page at bulldozer_invest, IMVST, and look for the pinned tweet for that day, and it should say, you can go ahead and request a single ticker, please request before 4 p.m., blah, blah, blah. So you'll see a similar tweet every day, and then you can go ahead and reply to this tweet. And here I will go ahead and have my requests. Now, if I don't review a ticker, it doesn't mean because I stopped my position or sold it, or if I review tickers for that day, it doesn't mean that I'm going to review it the next day. It's only daily requests. Okay, so just to know that if I sell or buy anything, I will put it on Twitter, and it doesn't mean that it's a buy or sell signal. It's just that for those who are wondering what I'm doing, I don't usually trade that often. I buy and I hold, but if I do sell, I'd probably put it there, so no worries on that. Coming back to our videos, please don't forget to subscribe. Give us a like if you like the content. If you don't, you can always criticize and leave us a comment on YouTube videos. We're open to any negative comments as well, as long as they're constructive. Now let's go ahead and analyze the market today. So as we always do, we first analyze VIX, and we were pretty much spot on from our yesterday's analysis on the 1 hour chart. I said even though it looks like we could hit the 28 area on the hourly, so let's go back to the hourly, because I first did the daily and I was like, it doesn't look that bullish. On the hourly, I said the hourly looks like we might have a spike, and that spike I said might come around this red line right here. We were pretty darn close, like 50 cents off, and then it basically died off. So you're following an obvious trend line here on the hourly. Okay, and next side would be the 2682 if it goes up, but we have to analyze the daily action as well. So on the daily, as we're seeing, let's zoom into the stochastics and MACD and see what's going on. So MACD looks bullish, stochastics look bullish, RSI is picking up. So it seems like we're going to have volatility. Just because we had an update today doesn't mean that we won't see volatility anymore. And in fact, we did kind of see things sell off at the end of the day. Okay. Well, what I meant by end of day is like basically right at the closing, we did see SPY fall down a little bit, but tremendous reversal. So we're going to go back. We're going to go ahead and review SPY, and let's just go ahead and do that now. So let's go ahead and type SPY. What a reversal, and what a prediction, guys. We were spot on with SPY, and if you check my last 2 videos, or maybe last 3, I did say that first stop will be the 20-day, and then we would complete the fall maybe at the bottom of this channel or right on the 50 moving day average, which we have seen. And if we do start the day lower tomorrow and maybe retest this 380s or 381s, I wouldn't be surprised. But if you look at the daily action, so let's take a look at the 5-minute chart. Of course, we have to zoom in. Look at these reversals. But what did I tell you? At the end of the day, we saw sell volume, selling. Now, a lot of people were probably paying attention at the close and seeing like, oh, we finished high, we were doing good. But this is worrisome. So we did have a lot of profit taking, maybe daily traders. I don't know what it was. What is today, Tuesday? Yeah, so it's not option exercise or anything. So tomorrow we'll see OPEX, or it's not, it's weekly, so not monthly. But we'll see how the Wednesday options on SPY, how they're going to play out. I haven't checked the volume on any of the calls or puts, but the volume flow, but that's fine. We don't want to lose this trend on the 5 minutes. There's an obvious trend. And it could mean, it could basically mean a bearish trend actually, because it's a rising wedge. But I don't really think that SPY is going to crash down hard. It might go ahead and retest the 380 levels tomorrow. Again, we'll see. Wednesday is always an interesting day, and it's usually, you know, on the options expiry on the Wednesdays for SPY, you can see some weird action as you saw today. But I would say that overall I'm happy. I'm happy with the market reaction. A lot of news and everything. This was the 5 minutes. A lot of news and everything with Powell and all this, you know, bond rates and so forth. Like, I mean, the yields, I really don't care. But market obviously did. It was a quick reaction, but the dip was bought, so that was good. So SPY again, we're pretty much dead on. And if this is the lowest point, so if this is a double bottom, which I usually like the second leg to be higher low, we're definitely going to revisit 393, 396, and we are probably going to hit 406 by it looks like by March, end of March. 406 would be my target. Okay. Now for our short-term target, and I'm always conservative, I always like to give the shorter term targets because we don't know what will happen in 2-3 weeks. So if we pull back a little, I think we're going to revisit 393 and then break the all-time high and go to 396. That is my goal for SPY. Okay. Next up is NASDAQ. So let's check QQQ. Beautiful reversal off of the cloud top. And this should continue. However, I think we're forming a megaphone. If this is a formation of, and I have to edit this, maybe something like this. Okay. So if this is a megaphone, I see the top at 343s. My target on this one, and it's a simple extension, guys, again, looks very similar to what we drew on SPY. And I'm going to zoom in a little bit and tell you where the price targets should be. So 351 should be my ultimate goal at this point. Let's delete this one. So 351 should be our ultimate goal. However, your short-term goal should be 323 on the upside, which was pretty close actually. That this extension got so far, almost touched the 50. I'm not sure if this was like the high of today. We'll take a look at the daily chart and see what it is, but the closing is 321. Did pull down a little bit after our session. I think we can go ahead and revisit and get more bounces off the cloud and then eventually head up to 351. That is my target. Okay. Let's fix this line a little bit. Okay, there you go. Why does it look so bad when I... There you go. Okay. I think I wasn't zoomed in, so I wasn't seeing it properly. But I hope this is not a megaphone. But if we do hit 351, that would be the place that I would take off profits. For now, the reaction looked good. Let's see if the end of day selling did happen on QQQ. Not as bad as SPY, but again, it's basically the same chart, the same formation. So they follow each other. I mean, they might differ a little bit, but again, the pattern looks similar. This pattern is on the 5 minutes is bullish. I would say on the daily, like 5-minute chart, if we were to do an extension. So perfect, 100%. Maybe we could get a support tomorrow at 318, and your goal should be 323 to 326 tomorrow. If we get, that dip, at least the 319 support should be checked off, and then the next run will be 326 on, like, a couple days. Let's go ahead and delete that extension because it's such a short time frame. It's going to look bad on our overall daily chart. Now, in addition to our QQQ, SPY, and Russell, I did decide to add Dow today. So we'll go ahead and do, Dow ETF. Now, I don't see, there is a sector rotation to Dow. In last couple of days, again, the yields rising and everything, but all the airlines, travel stocks, your banks, most of them are in Dow, so they were pretty much gaining. I don't like this action right now, so we would see the rotation back to QQQ, NASDAQ, the Russell. So then you'll see exactly why in the chart. And if it does fall, it could go down to 306. I don't expect much from Dow at this point. I think it had its rotation. It had that run up, and it basically leveled out at the top. I do believe that Dow is going to drop, and QQQ, SPY, and Russell is going to pick up. Okay, so my target on Dow is going to be 307. Next up is Russell. So let's take a look at Russell, IWM. Again, I'm not checking the futures. These are the ETFs. Could check the minis, but that's fine. Nearly the same thing. So remember what I have been talking about on Russell. We first thought, we were wrong here. I first thought it was a very healthy flag. Once it broke down, tried to come back at 9, I said we're probably going to test the bottom of these channels. And it did. Now we're going to party like 99, and we're probably going to shoot up to 230. Of course, we're not going to run up like 99, but we're going to probably shoot up to 236 area. Again, I'm seeing lots and lots of wicks and a nice hammer on all of the indexes, but you see the difference. Now you see the difference with Dow and Russell and QQQ. I think now the sector rotation is probably going to go towards the, the growth stocks and the tech stocks. Apple has been beaten down. All these cruise sectors have been going up. So no doubt in my mind that we will see some sector rotation. So let's go ahead and label. So first up, I would say Russell. I wouldn't be surprised if we hit 228, 231. My target on Russell is this area right here. And I love when I catch two fibs that are this close to each other. I could draw a very nice, perfect box right there. Okay. So my ultimate target, it would be 241. 240s we've been talking about anyhow, but I think this bounce, it could get another confirmation again. Today's action doesn't mean anything other than, we might, retest 9-day moving average, retest the bottom of the channel. It doesn't come that quick. Like, you're not going to bounce, within 2 days. You're probably going to take like 3 weeks till you hit 240s, but I think Russell is going that way according to the channel. Now, if we lose the channel, then you get your 50-day moving average and the fib line that we have, which is meeting up with the cloud top as well. So 208 is possible if we lose this channel. So watch out for that. Next up is, of course, Apple. And you guys have now followed me for some time, and I always cover Apple every day, so you don't have to request Apple, SPY, or VIX. Those are forgiven. I always do VIX, SPY, QQQ, IWM. In addition, we'll do Dow and Apple. So those stocks I cover regardless if you request or not. And look at this perfection. I did say that, all right, the cloud top bounce, I was kind of expecting it, and then this, and we kind of bounced off, but then I said, oh, the moving day averages are bearish. You have to wait. Again, you have to be patient with Apple. None of the internals or the moving day averages are calling for any type of bullishness. Now, it might be something like this, guys. So we might go ahead. This looks very similar. We might go ahead and test the cloud top. So you might push all the way up to 135 and then come back for a confirmation, maybe around 123. So you might have this. or you might have something like this and then the bounce. So you might have something like you'll hit 130, come back, and then you see this double bottom with the second leg being higher low. You might have that, and so basically you might hit 130, come back, touch 125 again, and then go fly higher. So Apple is not a growth stock. It's established. It's a nice dividend company. It's solid company, and it's American. I support Apple all the way, but you have to be patient with Apple. It's not a given, it's not a given factor that Apple is going to go to 150 tomorrow. So buying way out of the money calls of weekly calls, that doesn't make sense. So let's take a look at the weekly and see how it looks on the weekly, because when I do consider, I have no clue why my dog is barking. Right now, the chart on the weekly, it has to be fixed. It has to be fixed. Okay, so we might hit, as I said, like 130s and then come back. So watch out for that. And in fact, we could do, I'm going to have to pause the video and check my dog. I'm not sure if I have an intruder or something because he doesn't ever bark this loud. So this is a falling wedge, and we might go all the way to 111. Who knows? That's why I said you have to be patient with Apple. Okay, so let me pause the video. I'll be back. All right, so that was the end of Apple. Next up, so let's go ahead and review AMD. I know I'm on the weekly candles right now, and it might look different. So I'm going to switch back to daily in a second. Let's just go ahead and fix the time frame, and why don't we just look at it in weekly and see what's going on. Very similar to Apple chart actually, and in the QQQ, I mean, I'm not surprised most of them will look similar. Let's delete this wedge because it's not a wedge anymore, and it looks like a megaphone. And basically what it did today, it closed, what did it close at? 84. At one point at the highest point of the day, probably got rejected at, yeah, that's 20-day moving average at $88. So we revisit back to 83, I wouldn't be surprised. If you do want to play this, so let's go ahead and actually fix this. Let's delete that. Let me see what the low is on this candle is 79.36. I don't know, because it's weekly, it's hard to get. Let me do daily. But on the weekly though, if you do this, I'm gonna fix this up on the daily actually, because it's hard to do retracement on the weekly chart. I would say if you were to look, let me see which one would be more accurate. Yeah, actually this one is perfect. So we're gonna lower our target. I know it was more bullish, but I can't be perfect every time. So our target would be the cloud top right here at 92, eventually 104, and then at the top of this upper trend channel at 120. That would be a long term, I'd say like somewhere in the summer. But if this holds, so that's another if this holds, okay, if this holds, and it would be a perfect, so let's go ahead and see. The only way to invalidate this chart, I'll show you this possible scenario. Okay, you have this beautiful rounding bottom, right? Now if we break down this rounding bottom, or basically down here, there's a strong support, as you see here, as you can see here. It's probably somewhere here. I'll tell you what that price is in a second, because I forgot to capture the price here. But did I? Yeah, I did. So if it breaks down here, then it's really bearish. I mean, it is bearish that we broke down the cloud. That's one thing. But I'm always bullish on any tech name. Innovation is what you want to invest in. So if this is the possible double bottom, which this is the top, you see this, you see this, you see this area, so that's about the same area. If that's the support, now if it doesn't hold, we're going to see a major, you see this double bottom support right here, we're probably going to revisit that. Now I always say the bullish side and the bearish side, and you guys saw how it worked. Now, when we were going up, everybody wanted to hear the bullish side, but I always gave the bearish side and got dislikes. Now what you see is that every single bearish target that I gave hit on the spot. Okay. Now, obviously, this channel right here is also broken, but it finished above. So any bullish move, we're probably going to revisit the top of this channel, which is coinciding with the 50% Fibonacci retracement and the cloud top. So that's a possible and very possible strong target. Now, when we hit that, I would take the profit and I would watch. Sometimes we break over the 61 and then crash harder, so that could be a possible scenario. And I've seen that in many names. And when I say crash, I mean like a little correction. So I want to watch this area very carefully with AMD. I don't mind that buying here as long as it holds, but I will not buy the first spike, or I would probably sell the first spike somewhere on the 50% or the 61.8, which I'll tell you the prices in a second, but I'm just doing a visual here. Because it could possibly, it could visit this bottom right here, or possibly it could visit this bottom right here again. Okay, so we want to make sure, let me go ahead and delete all these scribbles. Okay, we want to make sure that we see two potential scenarios. And I'm going to go ahead and draw the visual again to clarify. I'm spending time here, and why am I spending time here? I see a lot of videos, technical reviews. Okay, downside is this, upside is this, blah, 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 and like 2-second review, right? I'm spending like 5-10 minutes on each ticker, and I have like 23 tickers to review today. For one reason, I want to teach you guys, and I want to show you guys that you should always think of multiple scenarios when you invest. And always technical, of course, but so of course AMD was down because of the people going back to the dinosaurs, IBM, Intel, no offense, I mean they're good companies, and then the high flyers like FSLY, AMD, not comparing AMD to the FSLY, but your Cloudflares and your Nvidia wasn't hurt that bad, but all those names, actually Micron was pretty strong comparing to all the chip sector, so that's aside. But anyhow, what you want to do is two targets. Is this bottom, so this top, this, you see so many strong points where it held. Is this going to hold? That's one thing. It bounced? Yes. Is it going to come back? We don't know. If it comes back to the bottom of this channel, that's a possibility. And then it runs up, right? So that's one scenario. Holding this so that you see how many the bottom candles that I found you, right? Bounced up, could revisit again, or maybe Friday, the bottom of this trend line, and then shoot up maybe next week or first week of March and test 50%. Okay, that's where the cloud top is. Okay, if it runs up above 61.8%, that's where I would technically sell and wait for a confirmation, either at the top of this trend line. If it breaks down, this would be the second protection. Okay, that's where your top, previous resistance, previous resistance, previous resistance. Do you see that? Okay. So now you have this range. The top of the channel and the previous resistance is going to act like your support after that. But all we know is that we worry about coming up to here, then we can worry about the downturn later. But you see how the market moves in waves. Even at today's action, we can go revisit the bottom of this line, which will coincide with so many candles here. Resistance, support, resistance, okay? So you see how market will react? So that the lines that I just drew, tomorrow or Friday this is what will happen. Maybe tomorrow we'll test the cloud bottom, and then bam, Friday everybody's scared and it would hit and get protected here, and then the next couple weeks after that we can fly, maybe sell some at 50 and then sell some at 61.8, and then we're gonna see if this the top trend line holds. If not, we're gonna see this level and then we might do a revisit. More likely, this would be the scenario here that I would go for double bottom. Let me delete all of this again. So the scenario that I will be looking for, or I think that would be very highly likely, is this. Test, come back, and run up, and then come back. Okay, now I would like the support to be maybe somewhere around here, so then we can say it's a double bottom, and then go up. Okay. Now the scariest thing is that when you have this formation, okay, and if it goes here and comes back, this is the scary part, because then it looks like a head and shoulder. I just, that's also another condition you have to watch. But there's so many scenarios running in my head. I just wanted to make sure that you visually see how many scenarios I think when I look at a chart. And then when I go, let me think. It's because I'm running through millions of scenarios in my head to give you a price point. Okay. So that's the issue when I analyze a chart. That's why it takes 5-6 minutes instead. Okay, support, resistance, next. Support, resistance, next. That's not what I'm going to do. That's not what my, video or the channel is about. Okay. So that's, having said that, I hope you guys visualize it. I like AMD, and I think that I did a good job giving you guys a visual of what possible scenarios could be. So your first target 92, second target 95, and then we'll think about what will happen after. Next up here is BFT. Honestly, I don't know what BFT is. Fully Transmean Acquisition. So it's a SPAC. No wonder why I didn't know about it. Okay. So a lot of SPACs got hurt yesterday and today. Especially, you look at CCIV with their news and everything, and like there's so many SPACs that I was watching that they were pretty much hurt. But I like this technical cloud bounce. I don't know if SPACs basically play technically. And it kind of did in a way. So I like the fact that it's over its 50-day moving average. Very strong VIX. I love it. Bounced off the cloud, finished above 61.8, finished above the 50-day. So your next resistance is going to be $17, which is basically coinciding with the cloud top. Okay. Seems like I reviewed this before. It must have been requested before. And this looks like a nice pennant. So what you want to do is you want to get back in here, and then bam. But if you get rejected here, then your support is going to be at 14. So your next first goal is basically stay and maintain the 16, 17 levels, and then I'd have to reevaluate. Okay. I can do a bunch of other fibs because the chart is established now. Okay. Why don't I do that now, right? Because when I got asked this stock, maybe it wasn't like, yeah, there you go. So changing my mind here, 1779 would be my target. So look for this. Because the chart is more established, it would be a better idea for me to redraw it, and it actually worked out better. Because now it's much clearer. And I can see, look at the resistance here, look at the resistance here, right? You want to see the extension to the downside, that's perfectly fine. So you take the top, you take this bottom, and you take this, okay? So you're basically landing, so the struggle will be, it's nice that it went above the 61.8. It should break above 1644. That's a level you want to watch to break above, okay? So that would be my target. 1644 first. Make sure you maintain it, and then you move to the upside 1779, 1849. If you're super bullish on this, I don't know what the expected merger or the company that it's expecting to merge with, but if it is, it could go up to 24. But again, I'm new with SPACs. I don't know how they react to technicals. So far, 1644, 1779 are the critical points in this name. Next up is Blink, and I've been dead wrong on Blink. I mean, like, I was right in one thing. Remember, I kept saying I was bullish on one thing that I was getting scared, and I kept re-emphasizing. Because I said every time I see this, look at this. And look you guys should watch all my videos on Blink. Anytime I posted Blink, I kept drawing this. I said, this is a rounding top, I'm scared. This is a rounding top, I'm scared. I kept saying that. And boy, once we broke this, bam. But look where we got the support. We didn't touch the 100-day, which could have been possible. I love the reaction off of the cloud bottom. Look at this. I mean, do you see this? Do you see that? Oh my God. Like, it's not, it's just, a lot of people might, think like I'm making up this cloud or anything. Is this coincidental, guys? Absolutely not. So your first target, your first resistance is going to be this red line. If we go over it, boy, it's going to bounce. So what I mean by that, right? Let's go ahead and look at some price targets. Absolutely loving the reaction off of this cloud. Beautiful. Okay. But do you see this? I'm going to draw this. Do you see the bottom of these candles? That's going to be, and then let me delete that box. Just wanted to visualize it. And then this red line that I drew, and I said we better hold it. If we don't, that's going to be a big drop down. I kept saying that. And that red line is approximately 42.13. So if you break above that, you're probably going to push off to the cloud top. Now, would it be that easy? No, because your moving day averages are crossing to a bearish signals. MACD is completely not ready yet. Stochastics is turning around. It's still not oversold yet. But this stock, I know it can push higher. It was hurt by Tesla, NIO, all the EV sector. So it didn't go down. Anytime that a company goes down, you first check the fundamentals and say, did the company release some news like today, Workhorse, that caused this drop? If it's yes, forget technicals. But if there are no news that would affect the stock negatively and it dropped and it bounced very technically, that's where you want to get in. Now, my idea was that it would have bounced off the cloud. I like the cloud, but then I drew this line for a purpose. I said it better not go underneath it. And once it did today, things come loose, or things came loose. So then it, bam, I love the reaction. No doubt about it. Okay. My target would be, first target would be 45.40s. Second target would be $50. Okay. That was an opportunity today, actually. BNGO was another gift today. I messaged, and it was the same candle action here. Well, besides the fact that you don't see the cloud bounce, but since I've been studying Ichimoku for some time, I can look at the cloud and tell you what I exactly mean. I'll go ahead and draw you this. Do you see this? Whenever you see a well-defined line on a cloud, that's a resistance, or it could be support. Why am I? Okay, one second. I didn't mean to draw this line. I meant to draw this line, and I'm going to connect this line. Okay, and this is horizontal anyway, so whoop, sorry, that was idiotic. So I'm going to connect the bottom of this candle and look where it meets up. So this is a strong point. So guess where the next support will be? This line. That's a major support. Now, a lot of people use volume gaps, like you have the vertical volume bars, and then you can see like where the major volume support and resistance is, and wherever the gaps are, that's a volume gap, so it could suck down, or it could go up fast or down fast from the gaps. But the cloud does a good job as well. So your next major support is going to be 721, and that's where the 50-day moving average is. And guess where the 100 is? Again, a very well-defined line on a cloud. Now, I love the reaction. If you got the gift, I'll tell you, I didn't know that this was going to go this far, but I knew that the top was made on that 61.8, which I was talking about in AMD earlier. When you hit that 61.8 off of a very strong bounce, you want to sell the first bounce and then buy the dip. Sometimes it doesn't work. I did that in Palantir and it kept going to like 100% Fibonacci retracement. So sometimes it doesn't work, but you're more safe taking the profit than losing all the profit and more from your money. So what did I say the other day when we reached here? I said look for 1149. I was dead wrong. I thought that we were going to see like the base, like this, price action here, maybe the cloud top. That's what I was looking for. And then today, of course, everything was on called for. And then we got a good reaction off of this well-defined cloud line support. I don't know if it's going to revisit, and if it does, keep on buying, because I think, again, I'm looking at the fundamentals of the company, and I'm not surprised. Your PACPs, edits, CRISPRs, all those stocks got hurt. ARKG, so all of the genomics got hurt. So is it normal for this stock to get hurt? Obviously. Was it normal of a 20% drop? Was overdone, way overkill. And then where we got was actually, I wish I wasn't down on FUBO. This would have been the first stock to buy. Zomedica, ZOM, and this stock, I would have bought the dip first thing in the morning. But I was locked on FUBO. As you guys know, I'm on a losing, I'm down over my average, and I'm losing on FUBO, so I can't sell. Well, I wouldn't want to sell FUBO anyways, even if I was up, but if I see a 20% discount on BNGO, I would have bought the dip without even thinking. So here, right here, what I'm talking about was, anybody remember here this $10 drop? The next day we dropped down to like 7 something. That was the shares offering. Guess where we revisited? Flashback, January 20th. Bam, that price level. Okay, so when you see that price level, and I hope we follow it up, I think my next target on this one is going to be $12. Basically, why I'm saying it is because of the cloud top. Now, can we get a quick, so this time, so a lot of people ask me when I use extension versus retracement. I cannot use, I use extensions if I see an ABC or double bottom pattern. I see a retracement off of what you call a waterfall. So my retracement is telling me also 1188, basically it's hitting the cloud top. So that's why I don't usually do Fibonacci retracements more often, because the issue here is that I know where it's going to go. I don't have to draw it. I mean, it's not like I'm doing Fibonacci math in my head. It's because I can look at the cloud and look at the moving day averages, and that's probably where it's going to go regardless. So, and you see that 61.8 is matching the 100% line on the retracement. So everything is well mathematically designed. So I'm just going to go ahead and draw this line and expect the cloud top to happen. And then eventually we're going to go to 1570s again. No worries on that, because if I were to open ARKG, all the genomic stocks, obviously, look when it fell down, existently no volume. And then, I mean, when I say no volume, this thing had like seen heavy volume days. That's why you're not seeing, oh, I'm sorry. I meant to lift this up. Why? What happened to my volume? All right, I totally screwed up. Let me rearrange this. I still don't see it. Let me auto zoom it. Okay, there you go. So you see the fall? No volume. Heavy institutions heavily went in here. Okay. Now obviously the price and the volume. So if you look at the price, price at $4 versus 800 million could maybe level up to price at $10 and it's like 200 million. I don't know. I have to do the math, but obviously this was a gift. That's all I'm going to say. I wouldn't worry about it unless I just mentioned this on the previous ticker. There's something wrong with the fundamentals of the company, like its machine doesn't provide as much of a zoom as another, PACB or edit or whatever, right? So that I think PACB would be its competitor. I'm not sure. I have to do some more research, but as long as the fundamentals of the company, the machine, the FDA, as long as they're good with them, then you're looking at this as a gift. $7 freaking dollars. Oh my God. It was like, what was it? Today's low was like 805. That was a gift, guys. That's all I'm going to say. So next up here is BRQS. So excuse my stupidity because I don't know all the stocks. BRQS technology. I'm sorry for the pronunciation. I might sound like a dumbass when I'm talking right now because I have no clue about the company. Let's go ahead and do this. Let's educate ourselves. Maybe many of our viewers don't know either. They might know more than I do because I don't do too much research. So let's go ahead and do this. Okay, there you go. What the? Okay, BRQS. Borks Technologies provides software and products for IoT, providing customizable. IoT is Internet of Things. Things like your, smart fridge, your like connected. So you're connecting all your appliances, your, Alexas and smart temperature, like thermostat and everything. So those are all IoTs. Differentiated and scalable Android-based smart connected devices, cloud services. So I don't know if this company is based off of Beijing, China. So I'm not really like so hot about ADR names. It doesn't mention that it's ADR, but it's based off of China. Sometimes with these Chinese names, like you type their address, they don't even exist in the map. It's like based off of like a deserted apartment or something. So just watch out for those things. I'm not saying this company is one of them, but anytime it's an ADR, anytime it's IoT, I mean, I can open up a startup and just do IoT connected devices and grab a couple of my developer friends and then, put us on NASDAQ or whatever. So again, obviously, when you're invested in these type of companies, expect a huge downfall in any market drops. MACD crossover bearish, stochastics bearish, RSI bearish. If you do want to look for a bounce, I can tell you that. Again, I'm not watching the stock a lot, so I'm not, fairly new to this stock, but I like the 20-day or the 50-day moving average bounce or the support, which is healthy. You want to look for, so if you're bullish on the stock, I'm not bullish on the stock, but if you are, you can look for $2.50. I don't know why it went up. I don't know why it went down. I mean, it went down probably because all of these types of names, Tilray, Sundials, all these stocks that moved from like penny stocks, they crash hard. That's where they will send you. Okay. So that's what you want to know. You buy things off of a fast moving stock, you better day trade because it's safer that way. Right now, I mean, it might be the dip. Again, the stock is coming from 96 cents, so you're at 145. Worst case scenario, you're just going to drop down to $1. So having said that, invest, taking the risk, and you're saying $2.50 from $1.50, and then your drop will be $1. So upside is $1.10, and the downside is about 50 cents. So your odds are better on the, you get good odds on the winning side, so you take your bet. Okay. To me, it's kind of like, I mean, I don't want to say a gambling stock, but to me, obviously, it's just gambling at this point if you're playing these types of stocks. Now, I guess they like my review on this one. As I mentioned so many times, guys, I'm not good at Bitcoin. I don't even know how many times I traded even Bitcoin. Maybe like once. You guys have, and I posted it on Twitter. Made like 50% in one day, and it just came out just to feel the experience. What did I say the other day? If Bitcoin moves technically, you're gonna see 47K to 45K. Even the 50% channel here at low 40s could be possible. Now, Yannet coming out and talking crap about Bitcoin, of course, put some, fuel in the fire. But I knew it was going to get protected somewhere down, 47 to 43K, which is, again, not completed yet. I mean, you don't know, like when you have a huge candlesticks like this, you're going to see some type of reaction, right? And I said I drew this channel, right? I drew this channel, so your reaction could end up being 52K again. But then you have to look at things longer term. Okay. So is this going to follow up? I don't know. What kind of channel should I draw? Like something like this. So is this going to follow up and go down to 43 and then struggle here, maybe touch the cloud and go up? Okay. That's all a question that I don't know, like because I don't follow Bitcoin as often. A lot of companies are investing. Square invested today even more, about like 120 million worth of Bitcoin, I think, if I recollect correctly. Obviously, Tesla has invested in, your MicroStrategy. Um, Honestly, MicroStrategy should focus on their core business, first of all. I'm not even sure if they're innovative anymore. But you see these stocks going in Bitcoin, then you're always going to watch out for those stocks as well, because if Bitcoin drops, those stocks are going to get affected. So anyhow, this is what I would say. Look for, if you want to position, look for an establishment, a floor based off of 43 to $42 area, 42K area. Okay, so that's what I would look for. Again, not an expert on Bitcoin. Totally did it for a reviewer that asked. I guess the first couple predictions that I did were spot on, so they were wondering what will happen next. When you say something and it happens, of course they want the next opinion. So another one here is CHWY. A lot of the coronavirus stay-home stocks got hurt, and this might be one of. I honestly, it's not in my list, so I didn't check to see. Beautiful cloud bounce right there. It did lose, so this is what's happening. I think the action is pretty healthy. I like the chart. I probably did it before, and I like the chart. So what happened here is that it couldn't break above the 61.8, lost the trend, it lost the 20-day, and then bam, and it got a correction off of the cloud and bounced back. That wants to get in this wedge. Rising wedges are always tricky. It's gonna be bearish eventually, because when something like here, let me show you. Let me draw it because it's hard. I'm more of a I take pictures in my head when I talk, and then I can't explain them. So this is what I want to do. Rising wedge, right? You're like, okay, you know you're going up in short term, but if something busts, you're done. And it's like, okay, woo, we're moving up. It's so exciting, right? But then the opposite with rising or descending wedge is that you feel like shit. I'm sorry for the language, because you keep going down eventually, but once you break, oh boy. Okay, so this formation is a rising wedge. And here the next wave didn't come and it just crashed, and you would feel the pain. Now what's happening here is that, let me go ahead and tell you the scenario. What's happening here, let me delete this because it's going to confuse people. It got a cloud support, and it wants to get back in this trend, and then eventually this is going to be a hell right here. Hell of a resistance. Because you have the 9-day moving average now. It closed above the 20, which is a good sign, but you have the 9-day moving average, you have the 50% fib, and then you have the rising wedge downtrend channel. Now, what do you do at this point? Do you expect the price to come back down to test the cloud again and then move up? Or are you expecting to go back and test 61.8, test the 50, and then go down? That's a bearish scenario. So I would be patient here, because again, look at this. You're above a major resistance, or which was a support, would be acting as a resistance. So that you're above, but you want to finish. So when I would get back in the stock? That's a good question, because this is very hard to even establish a floor from this point on. It's like hot, because you guys know that I'm more into a, this right here, okay, the breakout from here. So in order for me to get back in here, it has to form a bottom here. So it might come back, go down, come back, go down, come back, go down, and establish this. So would it take, I would wait. So for me to technically judge this, I'd have to wait a couple weeks. I know a lot of people can't. That's probably why you're asking me this, because you bought the dip, or you either bought it here getting excited and then crashed down. If you ask me, I can't really say anything technical at this point, because when I don't see it, I don't want to guess it. Yes, so this is a check. Yes, above 50. Yes, the cloud protection. Yes, above the major support, previous support, current resistance. Yes, above 20-day moving average. But then the questions are we going to break the 9-day simple moving average? Are we going to break above the 50% fib retracement? And then more importantly, then you have the 61.8, a huge wall. And there is your downtrend. So once you break above, you're going to reconfirm and then go up. But for now, because these two, and in fact the 61.8, is the third one, is a big question. For me, I'm going to stay neutral. Okay. But at least I hope that I was able to show you why I'm concerned with. Yes, there's lots of checks, there's lots of positives, but then your positives can turn negative instantly. And I'm going to show you the negative scenario. It can go like this, right? And that's where people get caught. They're like break above and then bam. Okay. I would wait for this because I don't think, look at this. I don't think even if it goes up, you're not going to miss anything. Because what's going to do is look at this resistance, resistance, resistance. So more likely what it's going to do is climb up here. I don't know what the price is here. Let's go ahead and find out. So from this range right here, so from here to here, what is the percentage? But then if you lose, if you lose it, what is the percentage of the downside? So that's what you want to do, risk factoring. Okay. So once you calculate your risk, then you're going to say, oh, well, I think it's worth to play this bounce. Or you're going to say, I'm just going to wait for another cloud confirmation, doing a, higher low and a double bottom, and we'll see what happens from there. So that's two different player types there. Okay. So having said that, I hope you understand what I mean. So from 110 to 118, so that's about what, 5%, 4%. And then the downside is from 110 to, that's a good floor right here, 103, about the same thing. So it's like not exciting. I don't know. It's like, the upside to the downside, it's like down you fall 5%, up you go 5%. It's like, what are the odds? Maybe do an iron condor, up 5, down 5, and do a weekly iron condor or something. I don't know. So that's my view on CHWY. It's like you don't have much upside to go in, but then you don't have much downside for the risk factor. So it's like you decide. Next up is FSLY. Now this company, some people say it's overpriced, overvalued, and that. So when you get in an overvalued stock, but it's a growth stock, when the market does a pullback, that's the pain right there. I honestly didn't expect it. I was asked, I think I charted this, I was asked somewhere around, I don't know, somewhere around here, and I said worst would come down to his 100-day moving average, which it did bounce perfectly. I was spot on. The issue was nobody knew. I don't know. I think I don't know where I was asked, but I knew. I said eventually it'll bounce off of you. I told like the scenarios, the previous scenarios. The issue was I said the worst comes to worst, 85 you can average down. Even my worst case scenario off of the cloud bottom, I wouldn't have even imagined 161.8 downtrend extension. It crashed down underneath it. I don't know if it was the earnings that caused it. Yeah, they had like they didn't, their future estimates were not well, but look at the last crash from the earnings. It managed to get up, but I don't know about this time, guys. Honestly, I value cloud, and I'm in the sector, the cybersecurity sector. I think Cloudflare is better than FSLY as an investment wise. Okay, growth wise, I didn't study, but I like Cloudflare and their product and their service. They're pretty good on the side, at least on the security side. I think they're matching up, even getting better, beating the Google domain service. So I think I'd rather put my bet on Cloudflare in the long term. And the word here is long term. But as far as short term, the stock is pretty beaten. Like I just don't. What I would say is that it'd probably push up to 86 or 92. You see this gap right here. So how am I coming out with this scenario? And you want to wait. It's almost there. So the stochastics, RSI oversold, stochastics turning around. MACD needs some time. But what I think is, let's go ahead and see if this was the bottom. If this is the bottom, that's exactly what's going to happen. Your gap fill. and top of that gap fill matches up with the extension. So that's what I will look for. Okay. Now again, we don't know if this is the bottom. If it visits 49, I don't know, because this is a huge drop. Previous support, even the previous, it closed above the previous support right here. This is a nice support candle, but we don't know if it's going to push to this area, 62s and 60s. Yeah, I was a buyer here. I told, I probably tweeted here, but then again, I don't see the bottoming yet. Okay, your target should be anywhere from $87 to $90. That's all I can say, but in the long term, I don't know. Next up, let's go to FUBO. So one thing I want to disclose, right? I have FUBO. I've been telling you guys that I have FUBO, and I said that I'm going to hold long term. I said that my goal is 74, 76. People are probably thinking I'm a fool because every time I said that, it kept dropping. I mean, go ahead and make fun of me. I mean, everybody knows my track record, right? I've said that in Palantir so many videos, and I ended up being right. I said that Palantir was going to be 42 when it was 28. Dropped to 26, 25, 24, 23, 22.50, and people were probably making fun of me. From 22.50, my entrance was wrong, obviously, but from 22.50, it went up to 45. So eventually it hit my target. When it hit 45, I was the first one to tell my friends that it was going to hit 24.50. Okay. So my long-term estimates are, if I can see the chart, and if I can be comfortable with the chart, my long-term targets are pretty much darn right. It's just that, can you take the pain? Don't margin, don't leverage yourself, maybe keep on averaging down. Eventually my long-term targets establish. Now I love the stochastics merging up. MACD is absolutely not ready yet. RSI is absolutely not ready yet. All the moving day averages are bearish, so I'm being honest. But one thing that I'm going to have to tell you guys is this. When I don't review FUBO, it doesn't mean I sold it. I only review names on a request. So none of these names that I review regularly every day. When I say daily technical review, it means daily technical review on the names that I have been getting requested. The 6 names that I will, regardless if they're requested or not, I will review are VIX, SPY, QQQ, Dow, Russell, and Apple. So those are the given 6 names that I will review regardless if you ask or not. But the rest of the tickers, I will only review on a request. So unless I go ahead and tweet out that I sold, in which I barely do, my average, I can pull up, I don't know, I can pull up my averages, but I think I'm average somewhere around 43 something, okay? And I thought I was buying the dip right here at 42 something. My first entrance was right here. I sold right here the day before the huge one. And then I was like, screw this, it's flying, let me get back in. This is what happens when you sell at the wrong price. Never ever chase it. That's one thing I keep telling myself, and I can't hold it. So I bought it around like 50 something, crashed down, scared the heck out of me. And then I bought it around like 40s, 39s. I should have sold it because I almost came out break even here. It was like minus 500 at that point. I didn't. And then it dropped. I bought it here. I bought it here. I bought it here. I bought some yesterday. And then I was like, and I looked at today, I was like, holy crap, I should have bought it today. I was like, I had my last dime and I was like, screw it, I'm buying like 100 shares or something. I was like, oh, holy crap, I should have bought it today. Strong candle. So coming back to our top, strong candle. Perfect. So the drop had nothing to do fundamentally with FUBO, and screw all those law firms, trying to do some case, trying to make a name here and there, but that's just noise, ignore it. So you're here, perfect bounce off of the 61.8. They definitely knocked some stop losses today overall in the market. Roku dropped, Netflix was strong, all the social medias were strong, Twitter, Snap, Facebook, which I don't like Facebook because of privacy. Snap, I don't know. I don't even use social media besides Twitter anyways, and I use Twitter for what? Your, fintech. So anyhow, what happened here is that it bounced off of the 61.8. A lot of people were frustrated during the day until the last. Don't decide on selling until the last hour, even the last 30 minutes, okay? That's when they picked it up, strong body candle, went over and closed right on the 50 moving day average. It broke above the cloud and got stuffed right on. And you guys, I don't play around with this stuff. You guys know me. When I draw something, I don't readjust. Until and unless I record the video, I delete it off of your face, off in front of your eyes, right? Look at this. Coincidental, maybe I was lucky. But the bounce was coincidental too, right? And the yellow box was coincidental too, right? And when I was trading the name here at the high 49s, 50s, I was saying I wouldn't be surprised if it goes to 42, this cloud top, or even this thin line of cloud at 38. And I was owning the name here. I always tell the bullish and the bearish side. And I never, ever, ever sell on a losing game, losing stock. Doesn't matter. Some people say move quickly, short stops. I always give the example of Novavax. My friend bought it at 270 pre-split. Of course, it split like 1 to 7. It went down to like 90 cents. And then from 90 cents, they did 1 to 7 or something, and it went up to like $7. Then it came back all the way to 380. So that means on the older, like before the split, it went down to 18 cents. So his stock went from $2.70 to 18 cents. His $260,000 went down to $30,000 within 6 months. He didn't care. He kept it. Now he sold it at $15 and he wasn't like break even at all. He was like 50% loss. If he held it, he would have been multi-millionaire. Sometimes you think by switching a stock and trying to catch a winner, you just keep on, losing, because you're going to act, psychologically, you're going to act broken down. You're going to try to jump here, jump there. What do they call it? Like monkey on a hot roof? Monkey on a hot metal roof, something like that. Like they keep on jumping because the roof is hot. So they act like that, jump to this, jump to that, and they just melt their shares away. And eventually, they're like, screw it, I quit the market. I focus on cost averaging. I believe in cost averaging on a of course, I'm going to invest in the company that I believe in, first of all. If you invest in the wrong company or wrong penny stock, I'm not telling you to go invest in like BTBT. I don't know you know where it's located. It's completely a spec play. It's good when the Bitcoin goes up. It's not like your Maras or other companies or GBTC or something, right? So I trade a strong name, a growth name that I believe that it has good fundamentals, not monetary wise, mentality, techniques, so information systems, right? Technology. FUBO could easily be the next Roku if they could merge with DraftKings, if they could merge with Penn, if they could even merge, if somebody takes a stake, Roku can take a stake, anything can happen, guys. They can merge with, I'm not trying to speculate, but Amazon is doing live sports, right? Or even Facebook can say, okay, I'm buying FUBO. First time I saw FUBO was on Facebook ads. I said I don't use Facebook, but I do have to communicate with my family abroad, and they use Facebook. So some of them just call me from Messenger, whatever it is, right? So, time to time I check up, see my relatives, what they're doing. I don't really spy on them, or I don't really, check what people are doing, but my mom, my dad, and so forth, right? So anyhow, I saw FUBO. I was like, what the heck is this? And then I see like some soccer. I'm a big soccer fan. I used to play soccer, coach soccer. So I was like, interesting, So that's where I saw FUBO. Facebook might dive at it. Amazon might dive at it. Roku, DraftKings. Anything can happen with this stock. So short term, I don't care. Long term, yes. I am not a short-term swing trader. I'm a long-term swing trader. If I caught Palantir at 28, I'm selling at 44, of course. But then I'm definitely revisiting and getting it back. So I don't like, I like to go back and reinvest and take the opportunity to double up my shares. So same thing with FUBO. Did I know it was going to hit 33? Heck no. I thought it was 38.13 would be the lowest point. We still close above that, but I still do think this stock is a gift before earnings. And I don't care what Zach, so a lot of people might think like, oh, I got the stock from Zach. No, I didn't get it from Zach Morris. I don't care what he buys or sells. I mean, he's successful. Yeah, he has winning trades, losing trades, whatsoever, right? But the thing is, I do my own charting. I do my own research. And if he pumps the stock and it benefits me, fine, That's one thing, positive thing. But I do still think 76 is going to happen. And you guys are going to, we're all going to celebrate. All the FUBO owners, okay? We're all going to celebrate. So that's FUBO. So next up here is LARK. Again, I don't know what the company does. We'll take a look at it. Landmark Bancorp Inc. based off of Kansas. Is this like a bank company? I'm assuming, obviously, but let's take a look at what the company does. Unitary Savings and Loan Holding Company engaged in general banking businesses. Very broad, generic description. Valuation says good. Profitability is good. I guess it's a stock that people would go on rising yields. I don't know if it does have a dividend. Yeah, it does, 3%. So it's a dividend stock. I mean, I don't really usually like to do technicals on dividend stocks because it's a dividend stock. What do I mean by that is it's not going to go to the moon. It's not going to get you that 50%, 60% gain yearly. Invest in Square when it was 20 bucks or 12 bucks even. Then you're here sitting at 260. I don't know where it went, right? Then invest in these companies. You're probably putting a lot more money into it. Any of the dividend companies, but here I'm expecting 27 and highs could go 30, but again, very slow stocks. These stocks, I'm not saying it's a bad stock, it's just that I'd probably be bored to death waiting for the stock, because I mean I do wait for FUBO, right? But the issue is I'm waiting for the big gain. Here you're just waiting for the dividend. Rounding bottom, cup, handle. Okay, so this is a messy cup and handle, but let me go ahead and redraw it. Cup and a handle, and it broke. It's definitely going here. It's a bullish sign. Just watch out for these previous tops, but if it breaks above that, this is a given, and that price target is 27.32. Okay, I wouldn't be surprised eventually at the end of the year if it hits 30.18. It's a good looking stock. I can redraw another big cup and handle. It doesn't look that bad, cup and a handle. Okay, so the stock fundamentally is good and technically is good. It's a good dividend stock with a good chart. Okay, next up is MARK. M-A-R-K, MARK. Remark Holdings. Again, let's take a look at what they do, because I have no clue what the business is, because I like to know at least the industry that the company is in, so we can maybe take a look at the sector. Profitability, health, growth. So I don't know what these are, but there you go. Let's see. Remark Holdings primarily focuses on the development and deployment of artificial intelligence-based solutions of businesses and software developers. Additionally, the company operates digital media properties with deliver relevant dynamic content. It operates principally in Los Angeles, California, Beijing, China. I would, again, I mean, nothing against Asians here. My root ancestors are coming from Asia. So that's one thing. I just want to make sure that like people know that I can't be racist against Asians, because I'm Turkish descendant and we're coming from, East Turkmenistan. basically where Uyghur Turks are, okay? Or Mongols, we're basically cousins with Mongols. We might have some mix with Chinese, some mix with Russians north above Yakutstan. So that's where all my ancestors are coming from. I can't be against, I can't be racist against Asians. That would be, denying my own roots. But the thing here is that anytime, I mean, you can look at NVIDIA, the owner is Asian, right? But anytime that I see an operate business in China, but then they're also operating in California or, somewhere in America, I would have to watch the credibility of the company. That's all I can say. And I don't know, right? So I'm asking you guys. So when you do the research and you think it's a good company, it's legitimate business, like NVIDIA, AMD, I mean, AMD CEO, right? Dr. Kim, I think I forgot her last name, but amazing CEO, right? But AMD is an established company. NVIDIA is an established company. I don't know about Remark, right? So if it is, excuse my, again, idiocy here, but I can go ahead and chart you this. Reason why I like to say this before charting is because if the company is not established and it's like some type of fake company, and there are, I mean, it doesn't mean a company is good company if it's listed in, New York Exchange or whatever, right? There's so many. So you want to, next bounce could be right here at the cloud level of 352. Look for the downside support at 266. I can draw you an extension thinking that if this is the bottom, you're going to look for 437 to 473, okay? So next up is NIO. NIO is technically where it's bounced, technically where it's supposed to bounce. So that's good. That's one thing. It is EV sector getting hurt, clean energy sector getting hurt. Although I did see SunPower green today, I don't know where it closed. I think that it's a gift just like FUBO before the earnings. I don't know if it's an earnings stock, but you see this beautiful cloud line right here. You see this bounce, and the trend line that I drew, I don't know where it's coming from, but it hit the trend line and came back, closed right over another trend line that I drew. So these trend lines that I draw is not a joke. It's for a reason. I believe that if NIO can hold, let's see if I can draw a line from here. Let's delete all these lines that we were proud of, right? So many freaking lines here. I'm just going to delete everything. Like, I don't even know. At one point, I don't even know what I'm looking at. Keep it simple, right? Let's keep it simple. Although I did say the chart looked really bullish, it tricked us. The market tricked us. So it could go down maybe a little more, like 39.60. I would watch out for the risk of the earnings. If earnings come out good, look for 52 and look for the upside of the cloud top, which is, trending. The upper trend line is 57. That's where I would target at. Now, if this is a possible double bottom, and we might be wrong because we don't know, we haven't seen the reversal, but I'm just saying if it's possible. Now you see this area is going to be your target area, which is the cloud top, okay? And your maximum upside is 82, which has always been, I keep saying like 82, 80s, like, that's going to be your maximum upside. But that's not going to be short term, obviously. Your short term is 54 and 57. So again, we talked about, legitimacy of the company. So next up is Nikola. Now, again, I'm not speculating, but there's some rumors of this company, right? So we're talking about an establishment company like Tesla, NIO, and then you have companies like Nikola. I mean, even Fisker, maybe. I mean, like, even today, what happened to What happened to Workhorse is a perfect example, right? But what I like about this freaking chart, if you don't care about the company, and if you want to play the chart, is I can't deny it. I mean, I can't deny it. Bullish, bullish, descending volume, huge rounding bottom. It's still holding the cloud. If it gets, and I've said this previously, if it breaks above this cloud and floors, it's going to take off. But the first stop will be right here. I'll tell you the price targets right here, right here, right here. So I'll tell you what the price is on that, right? What is going, it's not clicking. My mouse is like, okay, there you go. There's something wrong with my click. It got stuck. Okay. Ignore what I'm drawing, guys. There you go. What the heck was that? There you go. Deleted it. So I'm going to tell you what these levels are. Again, my view hasn't changed on the company's fundamentals or what the company is, but my mind didn't change about this, rounding bottom, and it has to go above the cloud. It's still holding the cloud bottom. It probably got beaten today. I mean, obviously, with all the EV sector, right? Still managed to hold above 50. I don't want to invest or would probably not go in until it breaks the cloud and holds it. Look at Excel, Helion, all those companies. I'm not saying that they're matching like that sector. Basically, that sector got hurt. But you want to invest in a proper company, guys, if you're putting serious money. If you're gambling, that's fine. Okay. So that's all I got to say with Nikola. If you're trading, that's fine. If you're investing, I would do NIO or Tesla. Next up is NNDM. So NNDM, I mean, the chart is broken, obviously. The stochastics is almost reversing. RSI not ready. MACD not ready. All the moving day averages curling are bearish. It did go above and hold this above the 161.8. It couldn't finish above the 50-day moving average. And I kept saying, right? I mean, this is a company you hold long term on the weekly chart. You look at the weekly chart. And I've said this so many times, guys. I'd go for this area, but then I said if market corrects, this can go very. Look at my videos like last month or so, right? We were somewhere here. We were going up. I didn't say this when we were going down. I think I said it somewhere on this huge green candle. I said, guys, look at, and doesn't this look like Nikola just 2 seconds ago? That curling bottom, right? Break off the cloud type of thing. I'm not comparing the businesses or the company legitimacy, by the way, but let me delete this, right? It's just, let me delete everything. I'm tired of these drawings. I don't care if I'm right or wrong. I don't care about what I call, right? Whoever says they're correct all the time is not correct. I am not right most of the time. But what I can tell you is I've seen a lot of things. So remember when we were going up like this, and I said it's a great company, it could even hit the 40s, but the issue with these stocks are that if market pulls back, it could very well hit $4. Now, I don't mean to scare people, but what I'm seeing here is that NNDM could easily hit 864, or maybe at this cloud right here, 922, which is very close to today's lows actually. But this is the thing, when you're investing in such a company, you have to know the risk factor. You cannot deny that. You cannot be emotional. And again, I'm saying, like, I was on FUBO. FUBO was 50 bucks, 49 bucks. I said it could hit 38. I know, I mean, like, you got to be open to possible scenarios. And if you can't take the real fact, you can dislike me for one thing, or the video, or the channel, I don't know. But you cannot change the fact. And this fact is that this line is a very nice support right off of the fib retracement that I have just drawn. Okay. Yes, the chart is bearish. Yes, the indicators are bearish. But if this 50% holds, you're probably looking at closing the gap right here at 12.27 and then maybe touching the 9-day or the cloud top at 14 bucks. Until then, this better hold though. If not, $7 is given. Technically speaking, if this is not gonna hold, I mean, you got the cloud lines and everything, but in the long term, it's gonna touch 770 if this line doesn't hold. So you better pray that it holds, or the company does something that it makes it hold, or the market goes back into these beaten down names. Only thing I'm seeing is stochastics is just curling up, showing some type of bullish sign, but the MACD and RSI is definitely not ready yet. And the fact that it lost the 50-day and it couldn't get above, that's another factor. And every time we see these violent drops, so this is a mini one, right? You get a drop, bear flag, and then drop more, but look, the floor is established. So here, drop, I don't know if this is a bear flag, but it's too much of a bear flag, but it's maybe a double top, and then bam. Now, I need a floor to tell you, okay, we're ready. I don't see the floor. Yeah, bounce is bounce, but it's not a floor. Okay, so that's NNDM for you. Next up is Peloton. I was wrong on Peloton. Again, when I'm wrong, right? I thought that the cloud bound, and you can't blame me for it, guys. Look at the technicals. Look at the cloud support, and then the resistance here. So I thought maybe we're breaking over. We're going. I think we're gonna hit 200. That was my view. But boy, I was wrong, and I like to humiliate myself so then I can learn lesson from it. Now, did the company's fundamentals change, guys? No. The bond yields, blah, blah, blah. Oh, coronavirus, we're going out. Oh, it's done. Oh, we got the shots, blah, blah, blah. You'll always have these news, right? Coronavirus out. Oh, the cruise sectors is going up. Oh, we got a new increase in coronavirus cases. Oh, blah, blah, blah. These are going to be excuses. Coronavirus will never go away. Just like how the influenza, right? What we called back then Spanish flu. Do we get flu? Yeah. Are we scared of it? No. I mean, I've seen cases where people, young people, God forbid, they get corona and they died. I had a friend, 27-year-old, came to my house. He had corona he didn't know. Came to my house. We ate, we ate off of the same plate and so forth. I'm not gay or anything. We didn't make out or anything. But when you're eating chips off of the same cup, he's putting his hand in his mouth and you're, putting it in the chips. And obviously, and no offense to gay people, I'm not saying that, but I'm married with children. That's why I meant to say that I'm not gay. You don't have to make out with somebody to get corona. That's what I was trying to say. So basically what happened was he didn't know he had corona. His wife got sick. For one day, she recovered. His mom got sick, 65, 67-year-old lady. After one day, she recovered. And then I was like, dude, you were at my house. You better go get yourself checked out. So he did. He's like, I'm positive. I'm like, you're not joking, right? He's like, no, I'm positive. And this happened after a week he visited me. After that, I've seen so many people. My nephew came, my cousins came, my brother-in-law came. We sat down with my brother. All this stuff happened after that. I'm like, dude, I hope we didn't screw up people's lives because this thing happens. I don't go meet with my coworkers or anything. It's just that my family comes. It's my close relatives who are visiting. So the issue here is I'm going to go back to Peloton, but he had no issue with coronavirus, not even a single negative sign. And if he didn't go get tested, he would have had not known anything. And this guy is a heavy smoker. He's an eater. And it's just done absolutely nothing to him. And had I not said to him, go get tested, he would have not known. It's a good thing that I've told him. He quarantined himself for 2 weeks, 3 weeks. None of the people that I've seen had any signs or any side effects of coronavirus. Neither did I. I got paranoid for 2 hours and then I'm like, screw it, I'm fine. So coronavirus is gonna stay, to make the long story short. The issue is people recognizing Peloton as a coronavirus play, which is not. Now, did it increase? Did the price go up because of coronavirus? Yes. The quality of the product, the people who own Peloton and their service is not going to end. People who own Peloton owned it before Jim, and they're still going to own it. People who bought Peloton because of coronavirus, I'm sure they love the product and their service, maybe continue. But I think, and I've said this every time I review Peloton, I think people's behaviors are going to change. They're probably going to exercise in their home more often than go to gym. I'm probably not going to go to a swimming pool. And I never do anyways. I don't find it, sanitary. I don't know who washes their butt or not, right? I don't know if they're taking proper shower before going to the pool or not. I don't care how much chemicals you put in that pool. And I'd rather go swim in the sea or lake, right? So that's my view. Peloton basically came down to this cloud level right here. I don't know if it's going to drop more. I think it's a good company. If it drops more and FUBO goes down, I'll probably buy Peloton. I'm probably going to buy Palantir. I'm probably going to buy so many other names, but I'm going to probably hold FUBO till 76, sell half my position, and then see other opportunities. I'm going to hold FUBO for long term, maybe more than a year, my other half the position, okay? So, but coming back to Peloton, I cannot do technicals at this point because I was wrong in the beginning and I can't see how far it's going to drop. If it can drop, it could drop down to 99, but I'm not going to scare people saying that it's going to see 99 because that's not a given. The upside to this is going to be 131. You're looking at 140. Those are the areas, okay? So space. Let's next up is space. So let's take a look at space. So again, this looks very similar to what we saw in NNDM, what we saw in Peloton, what we saw in FUBO. FUBO and space are very similar to each other. Although FUBO's MACD stochastics look more ready. Stochastics is good on space, but MACD on the FUBO looks much more ready than space. Earnings are coming up. I don't know if they're the same date. No, the earnings are coming up in 2 days. So I'm not sure if this is like an earnings stock. I don't think it's going to have any positive negative effect on it. It's more of their shuttle going up and going far enough where, NASA accepts it as outer space rather than Earth's atmosphere. Look, when I tweeted, and I'm too lazy to go find the tweet. You can go ahead and do that. When I tweeted that we hit our target, a lot of people probably said, oh, we're going to the moon. No, we hit our target. That's it. Bam. I'd look for a support at $36. I would look for a support at $33. Worst case scenario, okay? The up scenario here, I see the gap fill at 46. The cloud top is at 50. So 46.50. I think 50 is a possible due target. So if it bounces to 50 tomorrow, that would be my target. But then the issue is the earnings, I don't know. So I'm saying the downside, so first downside is 36.33. The next level, upside is going to be 46 and 50. Okay. Last but not least is Tesla. I think, it's due for a time that we review because I tweeted this today. Very, 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 very technical bounce. Right off of that 100-day moving average. And it's back above the cloud. It's good. But the resistance is this yellow box that we drew previously and it couldn't break above it. I don't think it's finished. It's close, but it's not finished. It definitely needs a reconfirmation. I think it's going to still visit the 660s, 650s until the next move. Again, Tesla doesn't move. It'll take a sweet time. Like it doesn't. When it breaks off of a bullish formation, it flies. But when it drops like this, it doesn't, like it takes its time. Okay. So studying off of the recent pullbacks, like major pullbacks. Okay. So one major pullback was the after the split where Apple and Tesla basically just crashed after it. What happens is you get the split news, it flies, and then after the split, it dies, right? So when you have such a drop, such a drop. What's going to happen is that you're going to have a quick bounce. So you're going to bounce towards the 770s. It's going to come back down towards 674, and then it's going to regain its position. So that's the thing. Just watch this very carefully. Bounced hard, came back down, double bottom, and then took its time. Couldn't break the previous highs of that double bottom top, and then fell down a little more. I guess people were waiting for the earnings. A lot of calls, premiums were sucked into the earnings, and then bam. Now, what I'm guessing is that it's going to take at least a couple months for Tesla to go back to $1,000. And when it goes back, I think it's going to go back to 1100. That's where my target is, 1182. But again, more being bullish, I'm not saying that it's going to go there in a day. I think it needs its time, especially you don't want this cloud to turn red. Major bearish, I would say 550. Major bearish level would be 550 because I see the support here and I see the trend line right here. It could hit 550. For the quick, bounce, you're going to play the bounce. It could go to 772. That's where my target to the upside or the reversal play for the weekly play. Not options, but weekly swing comments. Having said that, this was almost an hour, more than an hour and 30-minute video. I hope you enjoyed it. I just tried to be more technical. Of course, I can't do fundamentals of any given company, 23 company. I can't do financial or any other, business perspective fundamentals of 23 tickers in an hour. Analyzing fundamentals takes a lot of time. So please don't judge me by going off the chart because the video's title is technical analysis. I also like to conclude that anything we said in this video is technical teaching only. It is not a financial advising. I will see you guys all tomorrow. Don't beat yourself over the markets. Markets go down, markets go up. Eventually, markets always go up.